Today I'll be showing you how to make sushi rice. So the first thing we gotta do is measure the rice. Here I have 5 quarts of rice. When you're measuring the rice, make sure that you level out the rice in the measuring cup so it matches directly to the mark. Now pour all the rice into a colander resting inside a large mixing bowl. Next, we're going to wash the rice several times in order to remove the excess starch. Fill your bowl with cold water, running on the side of the colander, making sure you're not hitting the rice. Now the first wash is the most important wash and should be done quickly and vigorously, being careful not to crush the rice. You want to make a claw with your right hand and rotate it counterclockwise while you rotate the colander clockwise, submerging your hand in the center of the rice. Once the water becomes very milky, discard it. Refill the metal bowl with cold water, leaving the colander on the side to drain in between refills, and then repeat the process. The next wash should be done less vigorously, as the rice has begun to absorb water, making it more brittle. After this wash, the water will be much less milky. The third wash should be done much more gentle and should be done by pulling the rice towards you while still rotating the colander. At the end of this wash, you should see even less starch in the water. Continue gently washing and rinsing the rice 2 more times. After giving one more final rinse in fresh water, the water should be mostly clear. Shake out the excess water and set the colander in an empty bowl to drain further. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the net over the cooking pot. We're cooking 5 quarts of rice, so I'm going to put 4.5 quarts of water in and leave 2 cups on the side. The process of cooking rice is sensitive to many variables, including humidity, outside temperature, and how recently the rice is picked, whether it's new crop or old crop. For this reason, we will reserve the final 2 cups of water until after the soaking process is complete. Now if you have more rice, you could say you're doing 6 quarts, then you'll just do 5.5 quarts. If you're doing 7 quarts, you'll do 6.5 quarts, and so on and so forth. You want to flatten the rice out in the cooking pot. Place the lid on the pot with the net on the outside. This is done to indicate that the rice is soaking. Don't cook the rice with the net on the outside. The net will melt. Allow the rice to rest for 25 minutes before continuing. It's been 25 minutes now, and you can see the rice has turned white and is very brittle. Make sure the rice is patted down evenly as one even layer. Now place your hand flat on the rice. You want to measure the level of the water based on your knuckle. Now remember, you may not need all the water that you set aside. So here I'm still left with about half cup of water. And this is probably due to the fact that it's very rainy and humid today. So the rice has been cooking for about 25 minutes now. We're about ready to start seasoning the sushi rice. Now the amount of vinegar that you want to use is equivalent to 25% the amount of dry rice that you measured out previously. So in this instance, we'll be using 5 cups of sushi vinegar. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour 1 cup, or about 20%, into the hangiri, or the mixing bowl, and I'm going to reserve the rest. I'm going to take the rice and I'm going to slowly pour in the sushi vinegar over the rice, trying to distribute it as even as possible. Now with the nets and moving side to side, I'm going to pull it side to side and then move it into the hangiri. After I get the rice out of the net, I'm working quickly. I'm going to take the paddle and cut it, making sure that it's free of any lumps. After doing that 1 time, I'm going to take a wet towel, a wet linen, move it to one side, and repeat the process 1 more time. At this point, I'll be turning on the fan and allowing it to cool on one side. We really want to make sure that we do a really good job of seasoning it evenly all the way through. You can tell by the color, you can tell if there's any lumps. This is really, really important. As it cools on one side, or once it's cooled on one side, go ahead and flip it and allow it to cool on the other side. So the rice has now reached body temperature. When we transfer the rice from the hangiri into the rice warmer, you really want to make a little loaves, so it looks like little loaves of bread. And you want to be very gentle with the rice as you put it in, so the rice should spread out and almost break into individual pieces as you put each loaf in. So don't try to move all the rice at one time. Do it in batches.